the way we sell art is so different than someone could sell another product
Yeah.
that, ours is, well, considered luxury, a luxury item. And, you could argue that it's not needed.
Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. This is episode 21, Continuing Education. I'm Lori Rivera.
And I'm Jamie Haney.
Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. I
Hello.
was waiting for your hello.
Hello.
It's tradition now.
It is. It's all right. It's there. It's just the way it's going to be done.
Yeah.
So today, let's see. Today, what this conversation was spurred on by just in passing something you mentioned to me either yesterday, the day before. I can't remember even when it was, but
Right.
you talked about not taking this year. You're going to focus for the rest of the year. You're going to focus on taking more business related classes than art related
Mm-hmm.
classes. So let's talk
Yeah.
some more about that. What brought this on?
Well, like last year I took a portraits class and I got a
Uh-huh.
lot out of that. I did. I got so much out of that. But
Yeah.
And despite the fact that I have a business degree, I
Mm.
think that there's just so much more to learn outside of what you learn in school or even on the job. I want to learn from people who are in the field of art,
Right.
learn
Yes.
their
Yeah.
business strategies as it's applied to art. Because, I didn't learn about marketing art in
Right.
college, and it's
Yeah.
totally different than
It is.
marketing
Yeah.
products you see in Walmart. It's just a
Yeah. And you can
whole
tell
different
it's
thing.
totally different. Yeah, you can tell it's totally different because of everyone trying to market to artists hey,
Right,
take our thing. And you know
right,
that I've fallen for it. I have taken business classes that were not geared specifically towards artists, and
right.
we might walk away with a couple nuggets of stuff, but
Yeah,
generally, the way we sell art is so different than someone could sell another product
yeah,
that, ours is, well, considered luxury, a luxury item. And, you could argue that it's not needed. And, we've talked about that before. I
yeah.
personally think we need to have art. And actually, when we think of art, sometimes you just think of, oh, something that goes on the wall, but art is everywhere. Art is in
It
everything
is.
you look
It's in
at.
our clothes. It's in our clothing.
It's
It's
designed.
everywhere.
It is everywhere. It's what we read. It's what we listen to. I
Mhm.
can't imagine going without music and literature and
Oh,
uh,
I know.
designs. Like you drive down the road and there's an outdoor board. Well, an artist designed that. So, you
Right.
know, I kind of got off on a tangent there,
Yeah.
but the classes a lot of times are not geared towards artists. So when you find a good
Right.
one, man, you really you want to share that with your friends, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
hopefully learn a lot from it. So I've taken a lot of basically ones that did not gear towards artists. What about you?
Hmm.
Have you taken any that have not geared towards artists yet?
I No, not anything that wasn't geared towards artists. No, no, I
Uh-huh.
did take a, networking. I believe it was networking. I don't know if you'd call it a workshop. I guess it was a class. It was
Hmm.
online,
Hmm.
and it would have been a great class if I would have stuck with it. And I usually do stick with things. I
Hmm.
usually do. I'm usually really good with follow through,
Are you?
and
Well, that's
really,
unusual,
you
I think,
know,
because I'm
yeah,
guilty. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
guilty of
but
not finishing classes.
right. But for some reason, I think because it was online and I think because it was a dry subject, I just did not stick with it. So,
Yeah.
but that's really I would say the only business related art class I've taken.
Yeah. Well, I've spent some big money. Well, what I consider big money. I think I spent about $1,500 on a class once, and I did not finish it. And
Yeah.
that kind of just jabs me, every once in a while when I think about it. It's been several years now, and it was one of those that it was kind of like what I think of as an infomercial. Man, she had me
Right.
hook, line, and sinker. She had a great presence. She's very popular. Well, I won't mention any names because a lot of people might like her. and I did like her,
Right.
but it just wasn't niche enough for artists. And they did have an artist on there, but I've even gone as far as trying to contact someone that I saw was in the class with me that was an artist, and I couldn't get anywhere with them. So I just felt like I wasted my money. Not only did I not finish the class, but it was overwhelming. And so much of it did not even relate to the art business. And I felt like
Hmm.
I wasted my money. So
Right.
for
That's a
that,
lot of money
continuing
too.
education didn't go very far. It is a lot. It was a
Yeah,
lot of money. It took
1,500
me,
is a lot.
yeah, it took me a while to pay that off. Was on a monthly thing for a while,
Right.
Like I said, this was several years ago, but still, and I would not recommend that class. I won't say what it is because I don't want to diss anybody, but I'd tell you and Vicky, and if you want to know what it is, you can email me
Yeah.
privately. But or you can
Yeah.
email the well, no, I'll just keep that private. You can email me privately if you know me, or if you're resourceful enough to figure out what my email is. I'll tell it to you.
Yeah. Well, this
But
networking,
I don't want to diss anyone.
right. Well, this networking class I took, well, I took part of. I think I paid about 450 or 500 for it. And like I said, it was a really, I could
Well,
tell it
that's
was
not
going to
to
be a,
sneeze
it
at.
was going to be a really good class. I could tell it was going to be really good. I just did not stick with it. Plus, it was
Mm,
during the holiday season. It was at the end of the year.
yeah.
So, and we're all busier at that time of year. So
Yes.
that's
Oh, yeah.
probably not the best time for me to take a class like that.
That's a good thing to bring up. That's probably not a good time for anyone
Hmm.
to take a class because I don't know about you, but I've noticed at Christmas time, that's like my busiest season. And I would imagine a
Right.
lot of artists, we go through these phases. The first of the year is kind of slow. Then there's a pickup in the spring. And then I don't know about you, but it just like falls off dead for summer, picks back up in the fall. And then it's like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, all the way to Christmas time, right?
Right.
And it's just that cycle that when people want, that the masses would want. I'd like to say masses. I wish it were masses, right? But
Yeah.
the most people are thinking about buying gifts and things, and
Yeah.
we create stuff just like for my Christmas at the cabin. I create smaller giftable items, and you do the same for some of these little markets that you've been in
Hmm.
lately.
Yeah.
You've just had a market, didn't you? That did that turn out good for you?
Yeah. Pop up at the confectionery. It's a gift
Yeah.
shop here in town.
Hmm.
She has all kinds of cool stuff like soaps and all kinds of lip balms and wax melts, all kinds of stuff, and jewelry. She's a
Yeah.
silversmith. So Sarah's a silversmith as well. But yeah, it went
Right.
pretty good. Even though it was raining all day, it was worth my time.
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear. I like hearing good things about that. So let's see. What other classes have you taken? Have you had any other business classes?
Other than, when I was in college, of course, no, I don't think
Hmm.
I have. I really don't think so. Back when I was working outside the home for a nonprofit, I took like grant writing classes and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but that wasn't like geared towards art necessarily. It was just general grant writing, which is,
Yeah.
helpful that I have that
Yeah.
experience too, because I could apply for art grants, and I
Yeah.
know how to
Have
write a
you?
grant. So, I applied for that on-ramp thing that one year and I didn't
Oh,
get
yeah.
in. But that
Yeah,
was
I didn't
okay. I
either.
mean, I don't think I was ready for it at the time.
Right.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll apply again or not. It just depends. But that's the only, and that was more like a grant for like classes. It wasn't a grant for like, like a stipend, like money or anything.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, that's all I've applied for so far. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
you know,
Well,
there are two, we were just talking about this, Jamie and I, before the podcast. There are really two kinds of classes or continuing education classes that you can sign up for. We were talking about business, either business or art. So, Jamie, my question for you, I'm curious, what has helped you the most, business classes or art classes?
I would have to say business classes, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, because your art is, I don't think that, well, just for instance, this last art class that I got a free month out of this and I loved it. However, I ended up not continuing with that because I felt like I was going to start taking on this other artist's style, and I did not want to do
Mm,
that. I mean, that's definitely not what I want to do. So I kind of am leery to even take any art classes now. I
right.
feel, because just for that reason, I don't want to pick up. I think a lot of artists get caught in that just taking class after class after class instead of just
Hmm.
honing in on your own thing. And I kind of consider myself lucky to have not gone to art school because I think you're
Yeah.
influenced by so many, and just like when you take a class, I think you can be influenced. Now that's not 100% of the time, if you want to learn certain techniques like that portrait class, I mean, I think that that's something I would be interested in taking too as a portrait class, but certain, how there's certain kind of classes, and I think they're geared more towards beginning artists or hobbyists that want to start art as a hobby, kind of like stroke for stroke. Learn to paint
Paint and sip.
an apple, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And that's what I try to avoid for sure. Now, if they're going to teach me, just we're going to, we would like take a class on how to paint light. And now that I feel like you're learning an actual technique on, or at least I would hope you would, right? Because we haven't found one yet. But
Yeah.
you would learn a technique on how to actually bring light forward in your paintings and make them look more lit and like real light, as opposed to,
Right.
oh, let's paint this ocean with the sun coming out at you. I think they're gonna. I'm hopeful that we can find a class that will take where I can take any painting that I want to do and make a light source in there and make it glow
Hmm.
and make it look right. That's what I want to be able to
Yeah.
do. I want to be able to take what they've taught and apply it to however I want to. I don't want to just follow someone stroke by stroke and then not be
Uh-huh.
able to use that later. So I
Yeah.
think that's the main difference for me in art classes. And sometimes it can you like I got wrapped up in that last one. And she's
Hmm.
a good I thought she was a good teacher as far as if you haven't painted before. And so
Hmm.
I was real grateful for the 30 days trial, and it just turned out to be not for me. But for
Yeah.
someone who doesn't paint, I think it would have been good. But I think, as you progress, you learn more of your weaknesses. And there are a lot of fantastic artists out there that offer classes.
Oh yeah.
But, we just have to be careful and on what you choose and maybe not rely on taking class after class. At some point, you just have to stop taking classes
Yeah.
and start doing your own art. And that's when your
I
style and stuff
agree.
starts to
I
come
agree.
out. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. I think if you focus too much on those classes, just like you said, you can't develop your own
Right.
techniques and
Yeah.
style.
Yep.
So, and that's interesting about the painting light that you were talking about. You'd like to find a class in that
Hmm.
because a lot of people don't think about like abstracts, like
Hmm.
light sources and
Right.
abstracts. But I think you probably remember me saying something
Yeah.
about that the other day. I would love to learn how to better incorporate a light source into my abstracts. I just think that would be so awesome. And I have
Yeah.
seen that done in some abstracts before. You can definitely tell there's a
Yeah.
light source. And I just think
Yeah.
they look so awesome. So I would
Well, and
love to find a class like that.
technique, I think, yeah, I think that's a good idea on how to do that. I think that would probably be totally different from the kind of creating light class that I would be looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would be totally different. But you never know. Maybe a lot of the techniques are similar. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. We'll have to compare notes. We'll take two different classes and compare notes.
Yeah.
Summertime might be a good time for that. I don't know. Your kids home, my kids home. We're on vacation a lot. We're getting a lot of our vacation done this summer. Well, we
Oh
usually
yeah.
do, but several weeks away, probably won't have internet access or the time to dedicate. So, you do have to
Yeah.
think about time for these classes too. When are you going to have time to,
All right.
especially if you're paying for it, right? You don't want to pay for a class and, oh, Vicky did that. She had that
Oh,
class and then she didn't have time to do
yes.
anything. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I know. I do remember that. But she's just
Yeah.
been
So
so
you
busy
really, I mean,
lately.
no, she is busy. Vicky just had an episode with us last week or a couple episodes
It came out
back.
this week, which yeah,
Well,
but it'll be 2 weeks
according to
ago
when
when
this one's
this.
going to come out.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this will be a few weeks out, I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't we don't know when it's coming out, but it's already out, and it was Overwhelm with Vicki Wilson. That's what that one's titled.
Hmm.
So definitely go back and listen to that. That was a good one. I think all our podcasts are good, but
Yeah.
that was fun, and we're starting to have more guests on. So if you're new to the podcast, be looking for some more. It won't be every single time, but I think we're gonna interview some more people. That was fun
Yeah. Yeah.
to
It
have
was
Vicky
fun.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have
All
like an
right. So,
idea, if you have an
oh, go
idea
ahead.
for a subject for your podcast, then toss that to us. Let's toss it around,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, we're open to ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're open to guests. So if you think you want to be a guest, of course, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry's going to make it. We're going to check you out first. We can't have any super weirdos on here. A little weird's good, right?
Yeah, a little weird.
A little weird is always good. But no, yeah, throw us an email but now we have gotten some that you can tell they're just making their rounds. Like we had somebody email us saying they'd be a great fit for our podcast. And you could tell they'd never even listened to our podcast.
Oh
I mean, that
yeah,
to me, that's a no-no. You don't do that.
right.
That's just kind of rude, I thought. It clearly did not know anything about our podcast because what they were pitching did not even match. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's another story for another time. But back to continuing education. You said there were two things that the art classes and business classes. I would like to interject and say I think there's a third one too.
Okay.
And I think that's like classes for your well-being,
Oh yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
they may not even be related to art or the art business, but
Right.
it gives you, it might be ways to relax or just personal enrichment
Hmm.
classes because I believe that is really important to your art practice. You can't be just, nose to the grindstone all the time. You have to be getting these life experiences, right? I think that enriches your art so much
Yeah.
just to live through things, just living life. If you're just living in a little bubble, then you have limited resources within yourself to express in your art.
Right. Something that comes to mind is yoga classes. I would love to take yoga
Yeah.
classes because I think it would make my art even better,
Oh,
just
yeah.
being healthier overall and getting I don't know if it's actually like an exercise, yoga, but just having that, you know,
Meditation like calmness
yeah,
inside. Yeah, I
right.
could see that. Yeah. Now we've talked about this before. I get meditation, I feel like, from working in my gardens and
Hmm.
tending my plants and stuff. So but I would be interested in that. I just don't like to leave the house. That's my problem. So maybe an online yoga
Yeah,
class,
they
but
have them on
yeah,
YouTube. You can do yoga with
that's
YouTube
true. Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then, I'm always wondering, am I doing this right? Because there's no one to hear to say, oh no, you need to straighten your back or, whatever it is.
Right.
So that would be the only downside to an online class. But I think personal enrichment classes that needs to fit in there too. So
Hmm.
we'll add
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
personal enrichment.
Yeah, I
Have
like
you ever
that.
taken any personal enrichment?
I can't think of anything offhand that I've actually done like that. Other than like, maybe some things at the Y, but that was
Yeah,
a long time ago. Not anything
I think it could
recent.
be. I think it could be just anything that interests you. It doesn't even have to be
Hmm.
physical. It could just be like,
Right.
oh, I went to a talk. It's been several years now, but at the library, my local library in Mount Vernon, there was a paranormal talk. And
Oh yeah.
I love stuff like that. So I went, and to me, that was enriching and personal. And it opens my mind up to all these different possibilities and gives me ideas for paintings even. So I
Yeah.
think everything as an artist, we're influenced by every single thing that touches our hands, our eyes, our minds, our ears, everything. How can we not be influenced by everything?
Oh yeah.
So I think the more input we can get, the more that we can put out, I think.
Hmm.
I was thinking of some episodes that we could come up with, and this is a little woo woo, and I don't know how you would feel about it. And I'm no expert by any means at all, but I follow this artist, Kimberly Santini. I don't know if you're familiar
Oh,
with
I know
her.
who she is. Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous work,
Oh
gorgeous
yeah,
work. And
definitely.
I've noticed lately that that she is a little woo, and I didn't know this, but I'm starting to pick up on it. And I think maybe she's letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, so to speak. But talking about crystals and spirituality and stuff like that in her art. And I just thought that was,
Yeah.
I like crystals and stuff. And I have crystals that are geared towards creativity to help you be more creative. And there are stones that have vibrations that are supposed to open up your third eye and all this. And I
Oh,
don't
I
know, is
need a
that a little
third
too
eye.
strange for you? I know. Well, we'll put Kimberly Santini's link in there since we mentioned her, but just gorgeous work. Oh my gosh, I just love her artwork. Do you follow her?
I do. She does a lot of the
Yeah.
like animals. She's real big with animals, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I
Like
follow
animal
her.
totems.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they all have, if you go in and dig deep, she's got a lot of spiritual meanings in on all those. And just recently she posted something where she was holding a stone and I thought, she's into crystals too. So, yeah. All right, all my crystal people. We just had a full moon. I hope you charged your crystals. Okay. So, and all the other people, yeah, I'm a weirdo. It's okay. All right, let's get back to this continuing education. Hey, do you remember back when we were in Stat Gallery? That was a local gallery here in Evansville, and we all miss it really bad. And what was his name? Tim. I never can say his last name.
Ted
No,
Wynn.
Ted. Ted Wynn, because it looks like it's spelled NG something, right? It's a,
Nguyen, I
it doesn't,
think.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it looks.
Right.
Ted Wynn. And he had started inviting artists to come. Was it once a week? It's like in the summer, it was once a week,
Yeah, I
wasn't
think it
it?
was, yeah, I
We had
think
them.
so.
They called them lunch and learns. Oh my gosh, they were so fun. And all of us local artists, well, not all of us, but there was a bunch of us that would come and attend these lunch and learns. And
Yeah.
I remember one time Ted showed us all had to how to make a canvas from scrap wood. I thought that was one of my favorite
Huh.
ones. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Do you remember that? Were you there?
I didn't go to that one.
Oh man, you missed it. I took pictures. I even wrote a blog post on that one. I'll have to
I'll have to
link.
check that
I'll
out.
link to that. I'll link to that blog post with Ted. All right, I'll put that in the show notes. But yeah, the lunch and learns were great, and it was basically we went and we paid for lunch, and that they provided for us, and they would offer something for us to learn. And a lot of times it was another artist that would get up and talk about something they knew about. And I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
really cool. I miss that. And we kind of do that together, the three of us, but not so much
Right.
learning or just chatting and or painting together, when we have our little lunches, which we need to start back up, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we do.
That would kind of
Yeah.
go back into the personal enrichment classes,
Yeah. You know, and
us getting
something,
together.
yeah, and something I really liked about those lunch and learns was a lot of times I would meet artists that I had never met before. So it was a great networking opportunity and a community building opportunity.
Oh, that is yes, exactly right. And it's a lot to take on to host something like that. And you got to have the space and you got to have,
Yeah.
people show up and but I sure do miss that. I mean, Ted had the perfect place, that stat gallery. It had that great yard in the back. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
just have
yeah.
such fond memories of that. I sure
Oh,
miss
I think we all
that
do.
gallery. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really I feel really fortunate that I got to be a part of that
I know, me
because it
too.
wasn't very
Yeah.
long. What was it? Maybe 2 years, maybe
Yeah, probably about
that
two
we did
years.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember going and hanging out in the little coffee shop they had there and just hanging out and
Yeah.
talking to a bunch of artists, and it was just
Yeah.
so much fun. It was a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
was like my hangout.
That
A couple times a week,
that
I would
just
go there after
really.
work. Yeah, after work,
Oh, nice.
and
Oh,
my friend Adrian would be there a lot, and
yeah.
we'd just sit and talk to Maya.
I Man, I hate it that little small businesses like that. It's so hard to succeed and to stay open like that.
Mhm.
I wish the community would come together more and support local run businesses.
I
We
know,
see
me
these
too.
places. Oh my gosh, Evansville, it's just horrible. Every I mean, I don't know where they get the people to be going to all these restaurants that keep popping up. And there seems like every time I go to town, there's another restaurant being built.
Yeah.
But there was a new one that I saw that's bunt cakes. What? How
Oh
can there even be
yeah.
a store that sells strictly bunt cakes? How does that even stay in business? I just don't understand. I just
Yeah.
don't even understand it. I'm still very pissed off that Donut Bank is not going to make any birthday cakes anymore. And
Yeah.
now here's this bunt cake place that's, I don't know. Maybe it's a little mom and pop. I don't know anything about it. So maybe it is local people running it, but it kind of looked like it was a franchise to me. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
not sure if it is or not.
I don't know how they can stay in business actually.
I
These
do
because they
have
build
to,
these new strip malls and they've got to be expensive to rent.
yeah. Yeah, I do have to admit though, Mike and I went there one day and got a little
Oh, you
cake. We
did.
got two little bundt cakes. Yes.
So they're little like single serving size.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like little tiny, about this big. If you're watching this on
Okay.
YouTube, you can see my hands.
Okay, about
They're
four
about
inches
that
maybe.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
The vanilla was awesome. We didn't care
Oh.
for the red velvet cake too much though, because it had like chocolate chips in it. We didn't care for that.
Oh, okay. Well,
But it
so
had
did it,
they had wonderful buttercream icing. Oh yeah, really
oh,
good.
oh, you can't go wrong with buttercream icing. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we definitely went off on a
Oh
little
yeah, we did, didn't we?
cake tangent.
Yeah.
That's
Who doesn't
okay.
like talking about cake?
Oh my God, I know. I love cake. All right. So we've talked about art classes and personal enrichment classes. What are some business classes that you can think of that you would really benefit from that you would like to take? I'm thinking one right off the bat, and we've been discussing this a little bit lately, SEO. And that might
Oh
just be like
yeah.
a mini course, but I would like to find a good, simple to understand SEO course.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Yoast has a good SEO class you can take. I don't remember
Oh
who
yeah.
mentioned that though. I don't know if I heard it on a podcast or where I heard it.
Oh,
But
okay.
so we might want to check that out. But yeah, that would be good. And despite my degree in marketing, I would love to brush up my marketing skills and take some marketing, maybe public relations, stuff like that, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. I think that no one can go wrong
Yeah,
with brushing up on those kind of skills, that's for sure. And just brushing up on your people skills. You
right.
I think we, especially after 2020 happened, we got used to hiding behind our computer, right? But
Yeah.
nothing beats picking up the phone and calling your collector. Or just for instance, the other day, last week, I sent out a newsletter, and I had asked the previous newsletter, I had asked for reference photos for something that they wanted me to paint for like Mother's Day flowers in particular. That's what I was asking for. And I had one lady text me a bunch of flowers. And so she bought the two that I painted. So I was thrilled with that. So then you gave me the idea to bring up uh ask for more references, and then that worked. So where I'm going with this was I texted her instead of putting in the newsletter. I texted her the paintings that I had done. More of a
Mm-hmm.
personal relationship with the
Right.
with a collector. And I think that, and I feel comfortable enough. I could have picked up the phone and talked to her about that too. So I think that those kind of, if you're not comfortable with that, just practice
Mm-hmm.
talking with people. And I think sometimes you might have to do shows that have people actually walking around in them and not just stay virtual all the time. Because we were just talking
Yeah.
about this too, that most art seems to be sold in person,
Yeah, I
at
think
least for
so.
us.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
have a website and I have paintings for sale on there, but I really
Hmm.
don't get that many orders on my website. I've gotten a few,
Yeah.
but it's from
Yeah.
they were from current collectors. They weren't from people who didn't know me.
Right. Yeah. It's just a vehicle kind
Yeah.
of to get the painting to them that you've
Yeah.
created. Yeah.
Right.
Well, this has been an interesting uh episode where we kind of just touched about a bunch of stuff, but we did talk about continuing education, and I hope you got a lot out of it listening to us. I think they did, don't you, Lori?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So can you think of anything else we want to add, or are you ready to wrap that up?
I think we can wrap it up. That's
All
a
right.
wrap.
That's wrap. Schmack. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we hope you got a lot of it out of it. And just as a side note, we are still looking for suggestions and ideas for an upcoming episode where we're going to talk about artists in movies, documentaries, books, anything that you can think of. Send us your ideas at creativetypepodcast@gmail.com or DM us at Instagram or Facebook. And if you give us some ideas, we'll give you a shout out. And if you like the podcast, will you please subscribe and share it with your friends? And we would love to have a written review from you. If you do, we'll give you a shout out and a link in our show notes. And also give us like a 5-star review. That really helps the podcast and shows it to more people. Shows Apple Podcasts and Spotify that people are interested in this. And we hope that you're interested in this and continue to listen. Thank you so much. And we'll see
Yeah,
you
thank
next
you.
week. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Lori.